Everyone. So tonight I plan something different. I'm not going to do an actual presentation, but I would like us to discuss. So let me share my screen. What do I have here? Just a minute.
As we're waiting for Geoffrey, you can type in the chat, how are you feeling on the scale of 1 to 10? Sarah, Florence. Type in the chat, how are you feeling on the scale of 1 to 10?
Oh.
Are you seeing this?
Iceberg? Yes.
You are seeing the iceberg. Okay, good. I like this image. Actually, I have that. I have that as I have that drawing. I bought it off Amazon. I have it in my office. How true is this one? Success is the tip of the iceberg.
Mm-hmm.
How true is it in your lives? You know, when you talk of, we can talk of examples of where you have you heard of the path of least resistance?
The path of what?
Who has heard of that term, path of least resistance?
I've heard about it, but it's maybe the one that I'm familiar with most is the road less traveled.
Something like
Which is
that.
Almost like the path of least resistance, yes.
Path of least resistance. So, the path of least resistance in nature, actually it's common in nature. It is even with water. So water, when water flows, it first goes into the easy places. So for example, when there is an obstacle, it will not go over the obstacle until it has overflown. So it is the same thing with us humans. We tend to do things that are easy and obvious. So, but in order to succeed, what this illustration is showing us, that in order to succeed, in many cases, you have to seek discomfort. That's why actually, that's what I shared in as the topic. It was intention, I just made it short. I should have made it seeking discomfort for success, but I made it short to make it kind of for people to wonder, what is this about? Why should I seek discomfort? So you see this, actually, so what we see, for example, imagine a 16-year-old who wins a singing competition. Many of these kids, you will hear, they will say, I've been singing since I was 3 years old, or since I was 4 years old. She's 16, but she has already put in more than a decade and doing this every day. So actually what you see, there's hard work, there's persistence, late nights, rejections, sacrifices, discipline, criticism, doubts, failure, risks. How is it in your lives? An example, as you think about it, because since you did not prepare, let me share another thing here. Let me stop sharing this. I'll share this again. Let me share something else here. So I was, I emailed a very successful man last week. He's the leader of the parish council. I'm a member of the parish council here at the local church. He's a very successful man. He's a president of a property management company. So I asked him, I told him, so hi God, hello God, I hope you are well. When you told your life story during the parish council last week, I was inspired by the chances you took in order to get ahead. Then I asked him, did the decision to take chances come naturally, or did you learn some things along the way that helped? Here is his answer. It's so coincidental that I don't know. Anyway, Jack Canfield teaches us that there are no coincidences in life. He answered 1 hour ago, and I said, oh, how appropriate. I'm going to share with the group. Here is his answer. Hello, Geoffrey. Thank you for your kind words. To your question, it never felt to me that I took chances. I just did what I thought would be good for me. My drivers were always a certain kind of ambition to move ahead, search for freedom and adventure, not money. I was always confident that that would come automatically. I somehow knew that my special gift is to provide leadership to groups of people or organizations. I would look for opportunities that would get me there. I was very lucky, but I know for sure it only worked because of God's guiding hand. So for him, actually, he did not take chances. So in other words, he's saying us that these driving forces, so the ambition to get ahead, and he knew what he wanted. So he wanted freedom and adventure. So he was seeking freedom and adventure, and as a result, he got into positions that gave him a lot of money. So actually, he is quite new in the church, and he joined the council last year at the same time as me. But earlier this year, he and his wife donated 25,000 to renovate the church. And he also got another friend of his. So the two of them donated 50,000 to the church to do renovations in the church. So it was kind of very inspiring how one family could do this. So when he talked about his life, he's an engineer born in Germany. He moved to Canada in 1989. He worked in Thailand on a ship. He worked on a ship for 2 years before he decided to move to Canada. So he moved to Canada in 1989. So one day, a few months after he came to Canada, he was watching the news, and there was one of the news items was the fall of the Berlin Wall. And the next item, this was Peter Mansbridge reading the news, the fall of the Berlin Wall, and the other one was the ship on which he worked in Thailand. Everybody had died, it had sunk. It had sunk except 4 people. So more than 100 people, his former colleagues had perished. So he said he went out, got a beer, and to celebrate the life of his colleagues and his survival. And then a few months later, he called somebody he knew. And this man who he called, he was a president of a company. When he called him, he asked him about his life. And this man said, you know what? I've been diagnosed with terminal cancer. You can come and take my job. So he was given that job, and that's where he is now. Anyway, that's what it is. So let's go back to each one of us. How have you dodged the path of least resistance to do hard things to help you as a parent, as an entrepreneur, as as an individual, any. Talk to us about some hard things you've done. You've dodged the path of least resistance.
Okay, this is my submission. I believe it all comes back to mindset. If at all you put it in your head to say, I really want to do this, I really want to achieve this, you set your heart on it, I believe that is what is actually going to drive you towards success, or what would call success, or maybe even achieving what, like your dreams or your goals, basically. I will say now, for example, the time where I'm in right now, I'm in school. I have a full-time job. I have 2 businesses I'm building, but I'm also a parent of 2 lovely children. So many times I feel it gets really very overwhelming. But again, I ask myself, why did I start this? I don't want to let obviously my job will go one day when I fully enroll into school fully, but at least I'm like, okay. So when I fully settle, get done with my, can I say, prerequisites to get into my school, because my dream is really so big of what I want to do. Again, my business, it's still like my business is still starting up. I think it all comes back to mindset. You really have to be very determined to say, if at all I want this and I start this, I really have to see it to accomplishment, obviously by the grace of God. And then also the people we have around us. You know, your circle really matters a lot. Surrounding yourself with people that are going to push you. Because there is a difference between you having a dream and also having support around you. Because, for example, when I started doing my school, I almost gave up. But then I do have a friend who shared her story. She got through school, she was pregnant, newly married, she has 2 children, she has a full-time job. So getting to hear from her, telling me what to do, like it will be hard, but don't give up, you know? So I believe that is actually what really matters, getting to hear from different people about their stories, and also not feeling sorry for yourself, because you know sometimes self-pity also, because we all get tired, we all get drained, because you might feel you're working so hard and you're not seeing the results immediately, but then it doesn't mean it's not going to pay off one day. So that is how I would look at it.
Thank you, Florence. Yeah, powerful points in there. Determination, avoiding self-pity, and a circle, surrounding yourself with a circle of powerful supporters. Very good. Henry, go for it.
Yes, thank you very much, Geoffrey.
Oh, the Henry too. Okay.
Yes,
Go ahead.
I love the story by God. So, and also thanks, Florence, for those wonderful comments. For me, what I have seen as under the iceberg, again, I can give a story. A couple of days ago, I ran 21.1 kilometers, half marathon. Never done it before, did not train, but in my mind, I was saying, I can do this. I must do it. And so what I did, I trained, I think, for only 10K. And just like Florence has said, I surrounded myself with a team of people who run marathons. They've been there for like 20 years, some are like 10, 6. These are like real runners, and they're rich. They go to Boston, they go to Fredericton, Australia. But for me, I'm a regular guy. I just want to stay in community. And with that mindset, some of them ran a full marathon, and I was able to beat my target. I ran under 2 hours, 15 minutes. That was my target, but I ran in 2 hours and 9 minutes. So what I can credit that is, of course, the late nights. When people are asleep, for me, I've already woken up. When people are watching Netflix, for me, I'm training every single day, whether it's raining, snowing, and that's partly that helped me. And I'm running another half marathon December 21st. It's going to be like minus something. It's the mindset, basically. Thank you. Back to you, Geoffrey.
Yeah, thank you, Henry. Yeah, mindset, I agree with that. Great job on that half marathon. Yeah, you could see. And thank you for sharing the pictures and the video where you know the guys were helping you to get up to the last point. Talk about that last few
Oh, yes.
meters.
So towards the end, I pull out my Ugandan flag and I sit like about 20, 30 meters. I pull it out. I start running. Somehow my body just fails me. And I'm just going to collapse. And then deep in my mind, I'm telling myself, come on, Henry, you can do this. You can do this. You can do this. And out of nowhere, some helpers come and ask, can we help you? I say, please help me. I don't want to just fall. I need to reach the finish line. And then they help me. I'm happy people were recording. And then towards like 10 meters, I regain my consciousness. I tell them, please, thank you very much. It's okay. I have to cross with my flag. And I crossed the finish line. I was so overjoyed. Again, I tapped into my saying that you can do this. You can do this. After like 2-3 minutes crossing, I got the medal. And then I did 41 push-ups. Like my body was still going. And people were like, hey, are you kidding me? So it was good.
Did you have a sip of water before you did the push-ups?
Oh, I had like chocolate milk. There were some fruits there. I was just exhausted. And then my friend who usually trains, he goes to the gym. I just saw him lying on the floor. He was like, oh my God, Henry. And yet he was better than me like by 2 minutes, but he was just down. For me, I'm like, you know what? I need to take photos with my Ugandan flag. I was just very, very happy. But again, there was a team behind me. I knew people were supporting me when I posted on Facebook. People contributed $5, $10. And all this money went for mental health. So I challenged myself physically and mentally, but knowing that it's for the greater good. Yeah.
I really envy extreme athletes. Great job. Henry Ford, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with you. Just before what is Florence? That's the name? Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just about to jump in, and the one word I wanted to mention was the mindset. Mindset having been one of the during my presentation on fear, having been the source of fear, the way we model our mind to think about certain things. It is something intrinsic. It is within. It's a development that one gets with. For example, the fear of rejection, the fear of failure, the fear of all those fears. It's just because you keep looking at something and you say, oh no, this one won't. So to take a risk, it entails working on your mindset and believing in it and saying, you know what, I will go for it. But always before you go for it, there is always good to have a good reason. And the good reason must be for some positive purpose. In other words, when you are determined to do something for the negative, for destroying somebody, for doing something bad, then it doesn't become a risk. It becomes something else. It becomes so your mind starts developing something to fight rather than something to how do I mention it? It's so the mind itself is built in such a way that it enables you either to protect yourself, as we always say, fight or flight, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the fear that I mentioned last time is exactly how this comes about. So when we fear something, it's for a reason. Is it because neighbors may look at me doing this and laugh at me? So you push back and you said, what does laughing at me do? Is it good? Is it bad? Or what if I continue and they keep on laughing? Will I succeed? Unfortunately, sometimes we don't reach that level because the mind has already been trained not to stand rejection or to stand criticism. So all that is because we fear to take risks, just because of those other, factors that we create ourselves in our mind. So it's a matter of faith, it's a matter of determination, it's a matter of wanting to know the end, what the goal is, because once you say this goal is set, then if you start thinking about the risks, the what is likely to make it fail, then you may end up completely distorting your plan. What one should do is create the factors that are going to enable you to reach the goal, and then go ahead and do it. But if you start thinking, what if someone comes and says, no, it can't be done? Or what if the bank comes and says, no, this is not possible? So all these things depend on that. And that is why I think when you mention that surround yourself with positive people, that's very, very important, because a positive person is going now to adjust your mindset to think positively. So those are some of the things, and probably if you read through my presentation last time about fear, I think you would notice that most of these factors fall in, and unless you learn how to address your mindset, it becomes a bit of a problem.
Thank you, Henry.
That's my submission.
Thank you, Henry. Yeah, indeed, the mindset is very, very important. You actually need a stronger mind than a stronger body. So for example, what Henry talked about there is grit. What's her name? Angela Duckworth talks about it in her book, Grit. Even those who pass the SEAL training, American Army SEAL training, they need grit more than physical energy. Yeah, thank you so much, Henry. Sarah, I saw the palette full of products. Wow, we are getting more and more food. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I think I love cooking, and I also have started a little bit when I'm bored or when I just want to excite my mind, I can start baking. And there's this story I had, this lady, she loved to just copy recipes and start going through them. And so she has everything prepared on the counter. She has measured out everything, and she is like very excited about the whole thing. And so during the whole process, she really prepares. If anybody knows how, you go when you're baking a cake, so she puts everything in there. She oils she puts a little bit of butter on the baking sheet, and then she puts it in the oven. Now she's very sure she's got it this time. The only thing is she puts on a timer and then notices that actually she's forgotten the eggs. She put in the cake in there, and 10 minutes later, she forgot the eggs on the counter. So there's an option. She could really just grab them and just kind of try to mix them up in the cake. But 10 minutes in the oven, if you put in the cake, things will happen. The moral of the story is that all the things persistent, late night, so we can give them maybe persistent is eggs, and then baking powder is late night, sacrifices is all these things. So all the things have to go into that cake. If I know my focus is to really have this amazing cake, then it becomes normal for me when I'm running my business. I just kind of with it, can't forget the eggs if I have them to just undo the whole cake again. So all the things I just kind of embrace them and love to have them because they help me to push myself. The end of the other thing I have to always remember when I'm doing, excuse me, when I'm doing anything is to focus on what I want. And so then once I focus on what I want, which is in this case, the cake, I just want to make sure that I don't forget any of the ingredients. Otherwise, if I do forget to take risks, then chances are that I'm going to miss out on an opportunity. Or most of the time I've been posting and just trying to inspire other women about, the areas I force myself in going into rooms, which sometimes are really very intimidating because you get in there and it's just like all these people talking about businesses in millions. I'm like, okay, but somehow I'm in the room is part of the cake baking. So I welcome them in my spirit. I welcome them as part of baking my cake. I can't get away with them. Rejection is part of them. Whether it's within family, whether it's a bank which has said no, whether it is anything. So it's part of it. So I don't look at them as enemies. Actually, I take them to be my coaches kind of thing. So they are normal. I don't ask myself, why me? If the bank comes back and says, Sarah, we're not so sure we want to take this risk on you now, I take it like not personally, because even though it hurts a little bit, but I'm already jumping onto the next option I have. Or so it's part of me all the time. That way I can have this facade on me or smiling and loving what I'm doing and enjoying it, because I don't take them as things I have to do. They're just part to be in my cake baking. I guess that's how the best way I look at it, kind of thing. So that's my take.
Thank you, sir. And actually, it's very crucial to look at those obstacles as stepping stones towards the goal.
Yes.
Learn from them, evaluate them, and keep going.
The ingredients,
Yes,
they're supposed to be there. If they're not there, you're not doing it.
that's right. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, Henry, yeah, I see your hand up.
Yeah, quickly, I want to thanks Sarah for sharing, again, related to the people who you work around. I want to also introduce two other frameworks. I know we've Florence and Henry and myself and also Geoffrey talked about the mindset and maybe the other part, maybe the body, yeah. But I also want to introduce two things. One is the soul set and the heart set. There is a wonderful Canadian, his name is Robin Sharma. He talks about the mindset is just a quarter. Yes, we all have mindset, but many of us attend sessions or workshops or conferences, but 3 weeks down the road, we can't do it. We know how to lose weight, but statistics show that 50% of Canadians are overweight. And so the soul set, the soul from within, and then the heart. If we combine soul set, heart set, health set, which is the physical part, then we can, I think, have a grounded approach. And I think a couple of months ago, Suzanne Naluoga talked about that whole wheel of self-care, that it can take all the 4 dimensions. Just wanted to throw that in as we conclude.
Yeah, thank you, Henry. Yeah, that's so true that we don't go only with the feeling or with the reasoning, but we also need we need the emotion. We need to be fully engaged in what we are doing. So in other words, actually, many people say that following your passion is not good career advice, but I think it's good career advice, because how are you going to persist with something that you are not passionate about? There is Mark Cuban who says, don't follow your passion, follow your effort. But there is a great deal. There's a great deal in following your passion. Look at Sarah. All the years I've known her. How many years, Sarah? Maybe about 16 or 17 years. She has been cooking. No pay, whatever. No, she has to make good food and to make sure that people enjoy it. That is a really passion. And it's not surprising that actually her business is in a culinary space.
I would like to share with you what I heard on radio this morning. Not very much related, but somehow it is. And it is to do with depression and one of the remedies for depression. I was surprised because that question was asked to several people and none except one got the answer. That one of the ways that depression can be reduced or taken away or is through volunteering. And psychologists will tell you about how your mindset, again, like we were saying, how your mindset is affected by helping others. When you help others, there are a number of ways that your mind kind of thinks about forgetting about yourself and thinking about others, and that kind of builds some positivity in your depression. That was an interesting thing, and if you have a moment, you people try to read about it and see if there is any literature regarding that. But I heard it over the radio this morning, and I thought it was very interesting to know.
Yes, and the key thing in that is that there you are not focusing on yourself, but you are focusing on others. That's
exactly.
That's very, very helpful.
Yes.
Yeah.
So sometimes we say, if those others, those are their problems. That thing is not very nice. It will just going to make you feel angry with yourself, because if you can do it to others, it means probably somebody else can do it to you, and that reciprocal kind of empathy is what eventually happens. And even if someone is not doing it intentionally, you will look at it as a positive thing. You say, oh, you see, you know what? This person is kind. He's done this for me, And it was very amazing to learn that that is one of the ways depression can be addressed.
Good. Yeah. Thank you, Henry. So thank you, everyone. Why don't we end this session there? It's been insightful. It's insightful to learn, to see success. It's not easy, but it's worth pursuing. So why don't we take the next 10 minutes to do a bit of the mastermind? Just a few of us here, and we are all active members. So instead of breaking it off,